Collins Music Castlebar, suppliers of musical instruments and books for over 100 years.
Fáilte Rómha Cáiliúr, welcome to another edition of The Irish at Home and Abroad. Now don't forget, later on we'll be crossing the Irish Sea to join Martin Logan in Manchester, who's with the Irish community in the UK. But first, this week, with most of the programme, we're coming to you from Portumna, which is hosting the Galway County Fleadh. And while we're here, we're going to take a look at the other attractions in the area.
We're delighted to welcome the Fleadh to Portumna. You know, there's 1,600 competitors coming to town and all their followers, so the Chamber and its members have been delighted to be supportive of the Fleadh, and it's great to see such a buzz around the place. Portumna is a beautiful town, a really picturesque town located on the shores of Lough Derg, and we have a wealth of amenities and attractions. We're standing here now at the backdrop of the beautiful Portumna Castle. From a heritage point of view, there's so much here, the castle, the Irish workhouse, and as well as that we have lots of activities. We have angling, we have cruising on the Shannon, there's there's a forest park just out the road there with cycle trails and biking trails, so there's lots to do for families and for visitors. Tourism is the lifeblood of the area. You can see from March up until October, it's a bustling, busy town. The trade in the town rely a lot on the tourism. We've had the marina here just recently revitalised and refurbished. A beautiful job was done there, and you know, things are on the up in this part of the world, and we're delighted, and we're so looking forward to welcoming more tourists to Portumna. So yes, looking forward with hope to the future.
John Joe, you've written a number of books about the whole parish of Portumna over the years.
Well, various aspects. This is my latest one, this is my fifth one, and it's pretty much the definitive work on the parish, I would imagine. It runs to about 17 chapters, about 900 pages, and it's got 1,000 photographs. So it represents the story of this parish since the Ice Age.
It has a rich heritage, hasn't it?
Well, Portumna is exceptional. As an outsider, I'm struck by the fact that it punches way above its weight. The town owes its existence to the Norman family de Burgos, who took the title Earls of Clanrickard, and there were 15 of them from 1543 onwards. So it's situated on the northwestern shore of Lough Derg, and this castle here is unique in that it's one of the first, it's referred to as a transitional house, one of the first of its type in Ireland, with large windows built for comfort and beautifully laid out gardens, which you didn't have in the earlier tower houses.
There's a big sporting tradition as well in the town, isn't there?
Well, there has been, and indeed, going back, speaking of the Clanrickards, hunting and County Galway is unique and noted worldwide for the big fences, stone wall fences and so on. But of course, in more recent times, the success of the local hurling club is well documented. They won 4 All-Ireland championships and 6 county finals here in Galway, and it all happened quite suddenly. The club wasn't going very well for quite a number of years, and then all of a sudden a bunch of very talented hurlers came together and achieved that success.
What, in your estimation, is the most important aspect in this latest book in relation to the town of Portumna?
Well, there are several. I suppose the Clanrickard story here, in its various aspects. The 14th Earl was a British cabinet minister, one of 3 Irish landlords in the British cabinet during the famine period, and his son was very much involved in the land war. He was a much hated figure here at the time. The large estates in Ireland were being divided up, and he resisted any attempt to divide up his estate and acquire it, and it took a special act of Parliament in 1909 to take the land off him and divide it among the tenants. And then the domain here, the private farm, was passed on to the Irish state in 1948. But Yes, it's a very interesting place, and I think the history and heritage of this region contributes hugely to its economic prosperity, and going forward I think it'll contribute even more.
It's manic to say the least, but a very enjoyable weekend. We're hosting the County Fleadh for the first time since 1963. We have 1,600 entries for competition. Now that takes place up in the secondary school, the national school and in the old VEC building. Following on from that, in the sessions in the pubs, tomorrow we have the marching band competition on the street, which is a first again after about 10 years of a miss. Street sessions tomorrow, weather permitting. Everything depends on the weather, but it's just been one hell of a party since 7 o'clock this morning. Uh, 13 months in preparation since we were awarded the Fleadh, and a very diligent and hard-working committee. Everything checked twice and even 3 times, and a lot of support from the local businesses. Chamber of Commerce here in Portumna have been absolutely brilliant behind us. Portumna Agri were a huge help. Bank of Ireland were a help. Galway County Council very, very generous to us as well. So we've been quite lucky in that sense, but still it took a lot of work to get us there. Well, it's past my wildest dreams that could it be so big. Like for a county Fleadh, you don't just expect to have pub sessions, but anyone that was around the streets last night and again today, there are sessions of music in the pub. I just spotted some young ladies down at the bank corner dancing on a board and 2 others playing for them. Like, you know, that's what you have at All Ireland Fleadhs, but we were having it here in Portumna. It's a big undertaking. We're not afraid to take it on again. We'll have to sit down with the chamber people and our sponsors to date and see are they willing to push the wheel to the same level or maybe even a higher level as they have already done for 2017. Like, we can't thank them enough. When you get an opportunity to sell the Fleadh, sell the tradition, sell our beautiful area, one must grab it with both hands.
I'm Timmy Walsh. I'm the manager of Emerald Star, the boat here in Portumna. We have 2 bases on the Shannon, and this is the most southerly one. We have one up at the North Shannon and Carrick the Shannon.
This Emerald Star is a huge part of the tourist industry here in Portumna.
Yeah, they're here for over 40 years now, and it has had its ups and downs, but at one stage we had 85 boats based here, and now we have about 20, but they're all huge boats now. As you can see the size of this one. Like, one of these is as big as 5 of the older ones, so they generate a good profit every year, and that's what the company wants to do, and that's all. And they're rebuilding the fleet here all the time. There's about 10 more cruisers coming in. They're building these ones in Poland. This is called the Horizon.
You only got this one about 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks ago we got this, yeah.
And if I wanted to hire this boat out now for a week, what would it cost me?
Well, it depends. It depends on the time of year you're going for, or that you're going. You know, you can go early in the year when it's cheaper, and then at peak season, July and August, that's when it's at its most expensive. And you'd be maybe 3,500 a week for this. Now, it sounds an awful lot when you put it that way, but this is a very luxurious boat. It has bow thrusters, stern thrusters, 3 ensuite bedrooms with electric toilets. You have built-in stereo here. You have a sunroof or sun deck up on top with built-in barbecues. You have everything on this boat. Yeah. Heating system as well, and TV, stereo, you name it.
And where would this eventually bring you to? What's the route?
This is pointing north now. That's heading up towards Banagher, but you can continue right up the river as far as Billeek in County Fermanagh. you go through the Shannon Earn Canal, which has a series of about 16 locks to bring it from one water system, which is the Shannon, onto the Earn water system. And there's 16 locks, rivers, lakes joining the two systems together. Then you're onto a complete different world up there. It's lovely. It's nice on the Shannon too.
Yeah,
it is nice too. You can go right through Enniskillen. And on your way, you'll be going through Banagher, Shannon Bridge, Clonmacnoise, Athlone, Lanesborough, Tarmanbarry, Rooski, Drummond, Carrick-on-Shannon, and then you can link off after that for the Shannon Earn, or you can continue up past onto Boyle to the Forest Park up there, Lockheed Forest Park, which is beautiful, you know.
Yeah. How's the summer looking this year for you now?
Well, at this stage now, we've had twice the amount of bookings right now than we had this time last year, and last year wasn't too bad, so it's going very well.
That's great.
You know.
Well, we're looking forward to the cruise up the river here now.
Well, there's two ways that traditional music is passed on. The first way is the teaching of it, getting young people, draw them into Comhaltas branches, to get them involved in the schools, give them the love, give them this camaraderie that can be developed by playing the music. And then there's the other way, which is the lineage. Like I'm third generation in my family playing music, but I have two second cousins, 12 and 10, and like for their age, they can hold their place with any company, whether it's their own age group or adults, because it's just in them. So the lineage is also a very, very important part of passing on the tradition.
Yeah, I saw Portumna on a beautiful sunny day and fell in love with the place. It's a great place to bring up children. It's a great community spirit here in this town, great clubs, associations. Yes, I came here, as I said, on a sunny day, was brought around on a beautiful tour of the place and decided this is it, this is for me, and I haven't looked back since. We've a great network of friends. I'm in business here in the town, and as I say, it's just a great place to live. In a former life, yes, back in 1994 I represented Limerick and went on to win the Rose of Tralee contest, and yeah, great memories of that time, and I still have a great involvement with the Rose of Tralee Festival. I judged it a couple of years ago in Tralee, and I do a lot of adjudication you know, in various centres around Ireland. So yeah, it's a very close to my heart, the Rose of Tralee contest. I'm probably going to play at there's a special mass tomorrow night for the Fleadh, so I'll be playing at that, I think. And yeah, but I love the music, and it's great to hear it because there's a great musical heritage from around this part of the world as well. So it's great to hear the town come alive to the strains of all this fantastic music.
I'm the manager of the Irish Workhouse Centre, and that's the complex we have here today, which has been developed over the last 4 or 5 years into the #1 tourist site in Portumna town.
So what do you have here in the workhouse?
Well, we've recreated as best we can what life was like in the 19th century for the inmates that would have lived in this complex, and we try to interpret 19th century history with a particular focus on the Irish famine and its aftermath. Myself have a great deep love of Irish history, and this is an integral part of our history. It's one that was shunned by many Irish people for a long, long time, but it's very important because it was the home for so many Irish people in the 19th century. It was a place of fear, but it was also a place of life because it provided food and some employment to people, and very often they went on to live happy and full lives once they left the complex. We always encourage people to visit the castle to see how the other half lived, but for ordinary people like ourselves, I fear this is where we may have ended up, or certainly our members of our families. It's been a good year. We've started really well. In a heritage centre like this, it's very important to share the education side, as I touched on earlier. And we have a lot of school tours that come through here, and we help them with their particular curriculum for national schools and indeed secondary schools. But I think particularly for British and American tourists, we're very appreciative of them coming to this side of the county, and I like to think we show that.
I am the president of Portumna Golf Club for 2017. My role really is to meet and greet and try to meet people who come to society. We have a very good group of societies coming, and I try, while at all possible, to come in and meet them and welcome them, and they feel very happy about it, and you would hope by doing that. Even this morning they were delighted that I went in and welcomed them. And we had a huge crowd of ladies here yesterday, and I was here yesterday, and we welcomed them. They were the All-Ireland Nurses thing, huge crowd of them, and they were delighted that I would come in as president and welcome them. The course itself was designed by Eddie Connaughton, and it's a marvellous course because he developed the course through, and as you were looking out there, the oak trees, the undulating fairways. There was very, very little earth moved in this course. We were so lucky. And when people go out and play, they come back in and they say, there is no two holes in Portumna the same. Every hole has its own unique features. Generally speaking, we're very lucky to have such a course. Over the last number of years as well, we came into the top 100 courses in the country, and we would be almost the best. I think we're nearly the highest parkland course in Connacht. And we have held quite a number of Connacht championships here down the years. We have held Youths International about, it was 8 or 9 years ago. We held several major competitions in the last 10 or 15 years since the club, and I suppose thanks to Eddie Connaughton and the way it was designed, it attracted people, and the Connacht branch have requested on several occasions for the use of our course over the last 10 or 12 years.
My role as Lady Captain for 2017 is to promote the club as much as possible, and to welcome visitors as they come along to us. And it's actually a very simple position I have, because I have a wonderful committee of ladies, and they do everything. They work from, if I tell them to come in at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're there. If I tell them not to stay until 12 o'clock at night, they'll stay for me. So I have it very, very easy, to be quite honest about it. But the facilities are second to none. We have our caterers, and they get great praise, to be quite honest. And we may not have a very big clubhouse to facilitate everybody, but I think everybody's happy with what's happening in Portumna Golf Club. The highlight of my year would be, please God, that everybody that we've started with we'll finish with, and that we have great success for our club for the year.
Collins Music Castlebar, suppliers of musical instruments and books for over 100 years.
Well done to everybody involved with the Galway County Fleadh, which was held in Portumna. A great weekend was had by all. Now we're continuing our trip around Ireland, visiting well-known pubs along the Tourist Trail. And this week we're off to Fanny O'Dea's in County Clare. And that'll be followed by Alan Williams, our lifestyle expert, who has some home workouts for you this week. Now don't forget, after the break we'll be joining Martin Logan, who'll be meeting up with the Irish in the UK. Now all that's left for me to say is thank you for your company. Do join us again next week at the same time. So until then, Ihua agus Gadesha Slán.
There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have called here to Fanny O'Dea's down the years, and justifiably so, to partake of the famous egg flip, or drink, or good pint, or whatever, eat a good meal. But the old people used to always say that whether you want to eat, or drink, or partake, you should always call, at least. If you come into Fanny O'Dea's, you might meet the woman of your dreams. You might meet the barman here, who's gazing out the window there as I look, a very, very pleasant man. He might engage you in conversation that'll keep you here for the next 3 hours. He might even sell you 4 or 5 egg flips that you mightn't even be able to leave the premises because they're very, very strong. I'll guarantee you. Secret recipe that has come down, he will tell you, over 8 solid generations. No place else in Clare or in the world are they to be got.
If I could describe Fanny O'Dea's in one sentence, I would have to say a truly traditional Irish pub, full of great history, full of great characters, and has such amazing array of stories to tell.
Hi folks, I hope you found last week's nutrition information useful. Today we're going to tie it in with a little bit of exercise. I'm going to show you a little basic workout you can do from home with just your own body weight. So you don't need any expensive equipment. Sometimes your own body weight is the best piece of equipment you've got. We're going to start with some lunges. So with our lunges, we're going to start feet together. We're going to lunge forward, big step. Key with lunges, the knee doesn't come over the end of your shoe, okay? If it does, it's going to put pressure on the knee joint, which we don't want. Feet back together, and we go the other side. So we're going to go for 10. There's 2. Okay, back leg right down to the floor. There's 4. Brilliant for the legs. 6. 8. So we get head up all the time. All right, there's our 10 lunges. After you've done 10 lunges, depending on your fitness levels, you might need a rest. Take 30 to 45 seconds if you need it. If you're feeling good, you can keep going. I'm going to go into some push-ups. We're going to go for 10. So we'll go with the harder version first, and then I'll show you a little simpler version. So start there, hands under the shoulders, feet together. And we're going to drop all the way down. Bend the elbows, drop the chest to the floor. 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to make it easier, drop onto your knees. Keep the bum down low, and the whole body is working as one. 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's our 10 again. Back on our feet. Take a little rest again if you need it, 30 to 45 seconds, and then we're going to go into tricep dips. Again, just showing you that you don't need any equipment. You can use a chair at home for this, or if you're in the park like I am, you can use a bench. Hands in close to your side. Harder version is out on your heels, and we're just going to dip and push yourselves back up. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. If we want to make that easier, and there, heels in under the knees. Much easier there. So if you're a beginner, that's the one to go with. And there's 8, 9, and 10. A little bit of ab work next. After you get your breather again, it's going to be leg raises. So on this one, we're going to hop onto the floor. We're going to go feet together. If you want to make it harder, you can stretch the body. We're going to bring the feet up, keep the belly button sucked in, and back down. And we're hitting the abs. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. If you've got any back problems, hop your hands in under the lower back. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Back on our feet again, and we're going to wrap it up with 20 star jumps. Just getting the heart rate up, and we're going to go into our star jumps there for 20. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Simple little workout, guys. No equipment needed at all. Have fun with it.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Irish in the UK. Now we've got a great show lined up for you this week. We're in Leeds for the Northern Regional Fleadh. We'll also be attending the Irish World Heritage Centre in Manchester for a Poetry and Cultural Day. The Darkness into Light walk took place recently. And we'll be chatting to Derek Ryan, and he'll be entertaining us with one of his songs. So sit back and enjoy the show. Now, a few weeks ago, we were in Leeds for the Northern Regional Fleadh. it was great to see so many young boys and girls taking part in Irish music, song and dance. Take a look at this. Give me a little idea what's happening here today.
Okay, Martin, so this is the Northern Region Flower. So this is one of 4 flowers that are going to be held throughout Britain over this month. And essentially this is the first round of qualifying for all Irish musicians, singers, storytellers, dancers. And qualifying from today takes you through to the All Britain Flower, which is everyone from Britain competing against each other. And then qualification from that takes you all the way to the All Ireland Flower, which will be in Ennis this year in August, which is the pinnacle really of Irish music in terms of competitions. So.
My goodness, it's a really busy time now from here up until the summertime for all the performers.
It is. For people in Britain, there's obviously these regional flowers, then the All Britain Flower, and then Ireland. And then over in Ireland currently, each county is having their own flower, which is the equivalent of today. And they will qualify to their province and then through to the All Ireland. So right across Britain, Ireland, and even as far as America now, there's flowers going on at this time of year. It's qualifying through to the All Ireland.
And the competition is so fierce. I'll tell you what, you've got to be really good to be an All Ireland champion.
You have, yeah. I mean, you never know. Hopefully 1 or 2 people from today might make it all the way to be an All Ireland champion. There's some very talented people in Britain, but you're right, the competition is very fierce over in Ireland. There's some fantastic Irish born musicians over there that you really have to be top notch to compete. But there's some people here today that I think will go all the way and give a good account of themselves.
It's great for the Irish community here in Britain to see so many young people involved in Irish dancing, Irish music, and taking part generally in all the community activities.
It is. It's, as much as today is about the competition and getting through, it's also about everybody coming together as a community right across our North region on a day like today, getting to know each other. And we have tons and tons of kids. That's the majority of the competitors really is under 18s, all the way from under 9s all the way up to under 18s. So I think we have something like 150 odd kids here today, and then probably maybe 50-60 adults competing as well. So yeah, it's a real mix of people, and everybody mixing together is great.
Now, of course, you're chairman of the flower here. From your point of view, how has it gone today?
It's gone very well. It's been very, very busy, extremely busy. Huge amount of organisation needs to go into today with the level of kind of attendance that we have. So it's certainly not just me. We have a flower committee that's made up of 5 or 6 of us, and we've been working for the past 3 or 4 months to put this all together. And we've had the support of this excellent primary school, Immaculate Heart of Mary, here in Moortown, Leeds, and they've been fantastic giving us their facilities, and it's lovely grounds, and everyone's enjoyed a day inside and outside, so it's been a special day.
Well done to you. We've enjoyed being here with you and supporting you as well, and it's been a great day for everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks for having us. Thank you very much.
Well done to everyone who took part in the flower. A very enjoyable day. Now next up, we're off to the Irish World Heritage Centre in Manchester for a poetry and cultural event.
Díomh go léir, tá fáilte roth. We're here at the Irish World Heritage Centre on a lovely Saturday afternoon in May to welcome Louis de Pere and to launch his fabulous new Irish-English anthology, Leabhar na hCobala, or Poems of Repossession. So we're delighted to have Louis here with us this afternoon, partly because we exist as a centre to provide opportunities for people to access a wide variety of cultural activities. And here we've got a really fantastic opportunity for the small but very dedicated group of Irish speakers in Manchester to hear Louis speak about the motivations that brought about this collection of poems, to speak about the Irish language speakers that he loves, and to talk about the whole process of translating Irish poetry into English and disseminating that around the world.
And of course, culture is very important to us here in Manchester for our Irish community, and it's great to see somebody like Louis actually being here tonight to do the presentation and do the main talk.
Yes, absolutely, and we're really looking forward to welcoming the Irish language speakers of both North Manchester and South Manchester, because here in the centre we run regular Irish language classes, but also across in South Manchester, St Kentigern's runs regular Irish language classes. And there's also a really vibrant social culture attached to Irish language speaking here in Manchester. The Manchester Irish Language Group regularly, for example, hold conversation evenings in pubs around the city. They work with Home, the cultural centre in the centre of town, to screen films occasionally in the Irish language. And they generally often come together here at the centre for intensive Irish language days. So it's a really nice opportunity to bring those two groups together, and for the wider general public who are interested in the Irish language or in hearing it being spoken by native speakers, or who are interested in poetry and translation, to come along and participate or engage with a really diverse and vibrant range of Irish and English poetry, because Louis is also joined tonight by two very fine Irish poets in their own right, John McAuliffe and Vona Cork, who are situated in Manchester at the Centre for New Writing at the University of Manchester. So we're delighted that they're going to be here tonight as well to read Louis' poetry in English and to read from the larger body of poetry in translation that is collected in the book.
Louis, can you tell me, how long have you been involved with Irish poetry and Irish language?
I suppose I started writing Irish language poetry. I was writing in English as well at the time, but when I was at school would be the first efforts really that I made to write in Irish. And then when I was at university in Cork, I was very fortunate to encounter a man called Sean O'Tuama, who was a great inspiration to several generations of poets, and it was then really I began seriously writing poetry in Irish.
How interested are people now to get poetry and read poetry in Irish?
Poetry is still the poor relation. I'm afraid people are far more interested in reading novels to and from work and in the evenings and on the beaches, which is strange because poetry has always been a very popular form, particularly in Irish. It's been perhaps the dominant form of writing and very closely related to song. So I'm always surprised that people who take the time and the effort to read a complicated novel complain that they find poetry difficult. I think somehow from school they've had this idea placed in their minds that there's something like a crossword about a poem, which is not true at all. Poems really are close neighbours of songs in the Irish tradition, and much less daunting. If people leapt in, I think they'd find that to be the case.
Now, you've just flown in from Galway today. We're here at the Irish World Heritage Centre tonight. Tell us what we can expect from tonight.
Well, we're here to mark the publication last year of a book called Leabhar na hCobala, Poems of Repossession. It's a bilingual collection of 20th century poems in Irish that I edited for Blood Axe Publishers. They're the largest poetry publisher in Britain and Ireland, and it contains, in my view at least, the best poems written in Irish in the 20th century. And I suppose I put it together really as a celebration of Irish language poetry, from Padraig Pearse right through to the Belfast poet Gearóid MacLachlan, who grew up in the 60s, a child of the Northern Irish Troubles, if you like. But I also put the book together out of a sense of exasperation and frustration that so much of this material was invisible and inaudible to people, even in Ireland. It seemed to me that really there was an act of repossession required for Irish people to come to know this part of their own heritage, and there are 25 poets here in all, some 150 poems. I don't think there's any poems or poets here that people interested in poetry can afford not to read. That's my sense of it, at least.
How much of a demand, I know you've been in London and various other places, how much of a demand have you found for the book and the Irish language in general?
The book has had an extraordinary success. The first print run of 2,000 copies was sold out in February this year. A second print run of 2,000 copies is now being distributed. There have been events to mark its publication in New York, Boston, Dublin, Galway, Manchester here this evening, and there will also be an event in Paris later in the year. So it's really been very, very heartening. I think people are very curious about this. The response to the book from critics internationally as well as in Ireland has been very, very generous indeed. I think people are surprised to discover the quality of poetry that they knew nothing about, and for my purposes that really was the point, to say that there's no special pleading required here, that Irish language poetry measures up against the best international standards and is not simply a poor relation of Irish writing in the English language.
If you get a chance, have a read of Pierre's book. It's very enjoyable. Now we're going to take a very short break. Coming up in part 2, we'll be at the Darkness into Light walk and we'll be chatting to Derek Ryan. See you soon. Welcome back to the Irish in the UK. Now I've been just having a lovely cup of tea and catching up with the news from home. Now next up, we're off to the Darkness into Light walk.
This morning here at the Irish World Heritage Centre here in Manchester, we've had a great turnout for the Darkness into Light walk. It's the 3rd year we've run it and it's the best yet. I'd very like to thank, while we're on air, just to thank everybody who's turned up, and the organisers and the staff at the Heritage Centre for helping out throughout the night, because it's a long, long night.
Suicide is a thing that's very prominent here in society, whether someone is directly affected by it, but we all know someone who has been affected by it, and I think it's great to get out here and show support for a great cause, and we'll see how we are at the end of it after this run.
It's just really important, I think, that Darkness into Light, it shows how you get through something in life, whether it's yourself or a family member, everybody's affected by it, and it just shows how important it is to have support to bring you through a dark point, and then obviously walking in towards the light and getting through it, and helping people and being there to support others. So that's why I'm here today.
My name is Judy Fitzgerald. I'm from Limerick in Ireland, so I came over here to do the Darkness into Light walk with my sister, who's living here in Manchester. So we're just back after completing the Darkness into Light walk, and it was really, really amazing experience with all the lights and peace and hope. It really, really was a great experience to see all that, and it just gives everyone that's going through any bit of anxiety, depression, that extra bit of hope, seeing everyone getting together and talking about their experiences, like I talked about my experience today with other people.
I first got involved with suicide prevention in Ireland as a result of losing a few people I knew quite well in Tuam, County Galway. And in 7th of May 2011, when the Darkness into Light walk was taking place, I continued on walking through every county in Ireland to raise awareness about the problem of suicide. And as a result of that, people in the UK contacted me to see would I come to the UK and walk all the counties here. So I did. I came over in July 2013 and spent a year walking the roads of England, Scotland and Wales. And at the end of all that, we decided that maybe we should set up some sort of a service to help people here in the UK. And after meeting with a few friends, we set up Stamp Out Suicide. And what we do with Stamp Out Suicide is we have a helpline, and if somebody is having suicidal thoughts, they can contact us on that helpline, and we will talk with them and offer them the service of free counselling. And then what happens is, if they agree to counselling, we will get one of our counsellors to make contact with this person, and then they will start a counselling process which will last up to 18 weeks.
How did you first get involved with Darkness into Light?
I came across an awful lot of people talking to me about their family members who unfortunately it had happened to, and I found it very humbling to be approached by people like that. Obviously I'm a fairly good listener, and everything I've given in confidence I keep it to myself, you know. So
Are you pleased with the turnout that you've had this morning?
I'm delighted with the turnout we had this morning, Martin. Absolutely, and I can't thank people enough. I know it's an early hour, and it's lovely to see some of the children, and thanks to everybody who supported us for this year. It's been a wonderful, wonderful morning.
It was great to see so many people turn up at 4:15 a.m. to take part in the walk. Well done to them all. Now, it's time for me to catch up with Derek Ryan, and he might allow me to sing a song with him.
For 3 long years.
Derek, you've just released 2 brand new songs, Connemara Sky and Old and Grey. Were they written by yourself?
They were actually, yeah, both of them were co-written. I wrote Connemara Sky with a great friend of mine, James Kramer from Dublin, who's a fantastic singer-songwriter in his own right. And then Old and Grey I wrote with Eleanor McAvoy, which I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be familiar with. Fantastic singer, composer, songwriter, you name it. And musicians, so yeah, they're both co-written by myself. Yeah.
It must feel a great achievement when you can write songs like that and then they're played and they become a great big hit, and you look back on it and you think, my goodness, I done well there.
Yeah, well, I suppose you just kind of, I always look forward, really, you know. But once a song has been written, you know, I kind of tend to just say, that's it, job done now, and we move on. And you know, the people decide. I always say, you know, you never know when you write a song whether it's going to be popular or whether it's not, you know. The people decide what they like, and that's the way it is, and that's what I love about it, you know. And every time when I release an album, I always await the kind of the requests and the comments, and you know, and see which song is doing well, you know, off the album. So I always get a bit excited by that, you know.
Yeah, and of course you've made a few appearances as well on RTE lately, and they were great shows for you as well, and we all enjoyed watching them.
Yeah, big shows. I mean, look, it's great that local radio and local TV has always been so good to us, you know. So it's great that the national broadcaster is getting involved as well and pushing it. And I mean, there was a great audience there recently for the Late Late Show special and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, it's exciting. I mean, look, it's a great night out, and it's great to catch up with all the rest of the singers as well. You know, it's a bit of crack, and you know, you can't, I suppose, look too much into it either. It's just everyone meeting up and singing and giving the audience at home, you know, some country music. So.
And of course, next week now you'll be back in Ireland again, and it's on with the festivals then.
Yeah, all the summer festivals. I mean, look, there's lots of marquees. There's every town in Ireland, you know, lots of towns are opting for country music for their festivals, you know, their town festivals. So it's a busy summer. I mean, I don't remember one being as busy, you know, which is great. It's, you know, it's just getting busier and busier. And you know, we were chatting off camera about how it's better to be busy than be sitting at home on the couch waiting for the phone to ring. So look, it's great, and all you want to do as a singer is perform and travel and write songs, you know. So that's all I want to do.
Derek, it's great to see you here in Manchester, and we wish you the very best of luck in the future.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Best wishes to Derek for the future. Now that brings us to the end of another show. We do hope you've enjoyed it this week. And don't forget, we are back next Thursday evening at 7 o'clock with Henry McGlade for the Irish at home and abroad. And I'm here at 7:30 for the Irish in the UK. Until then, take care of yourselves and thank you for watching. This is Derek with one of his songs.
A blessed candle burning lights her golden band, her beads and book of prayers are resting in her hand. He pulled a chair beside her to sit with her a while. She turns her feeble body close to give him one last smile. As he held her wedding finger, Softly he did say, I remember when you said I do. Seems like yesterday when you took my name that morning. My heart did overflow, and I still feel the way I did 60 years ago. With a damp white cloth he soothes her, his soulmate, his best friend. Her suffering now is over. He knows this is the end. She said they're here to take me. It's time to say goodbye. One last breath, a gentle kiss, a tear falls from his eye as he held her wedding finger. Softly he did say, I remember when you said I do. Seems like yesterday when you took my name that morning. My heart did overflow, and I still feel the way I did 60 years ago, as he held your wedding finger. Softly he did say, I remember when you said I do. Seems like yesterday when you took my name that morning. My heart did overflow, and I still feel the way I did 60 years ago. I still feel the way I did 60 years ago.